today, NASCAR and FX is at Loudon, New Hampshire. The NASCAR Busch Series racing 200 miles, 32 laps complete. Kevin Harvick has led them all. Harvick led the most laps at Bristol and at Texas.
Mike, this is that old favorite car. They run it about 17 times last year. One St. Louis, one Bristol. It's not the car they won Texas with early this year. This race car has been a great race car to them.
Harvick out-qualified the field by about 0.2 of a second. Has led every lap. Ryan Newman's fought his way to second. Steve Park holds third. Mike Skinner fourth. Jason Keller fifth. Andy Santerre worked his way up to sixth. Now, we've talked a lot about fuel mileage and strategy for today's race. Let's get the pole winner strategy. Dick Burton.
Well, last year, Harvick had a pretty good run for a while. He led 15 laps, but then he got into a jingle with Ricky Clayman, had a flat tire, lost his chance to win. The game plan this year, they have come with virtually the identical setup, despite the fact that the engines this year have much more horsepower. Strategy, very simple. Stay out front. Crew Chief Todd Barrier told me this morning it is so hard to pass on this place that they absolutely want to stay out front all day long if they can. They cannot make it on one stop. They can only go about 85 laps on a tank. This will be a two-stop strategy for Harvick.
So at 35 laps complete, a pit stop now would make it a one-stop race.
Yeah, definitely. If we got a caution right now, I think the only car that would be questionable coming to pit road would be Jeff Green.
Right.
But if we run too far, he's probably going to go ahead and get his tires, because I think the earlier in the race they can get their tires on Jeff Hammond, the better off you're going to be.
Larry McReynolds, because everybody knows when you come to a short track like this, it doesn't make a difference if it's a mile long or if it's a half-mile racetrack. When you got one groove, it's working low, it's hard to pass. So you got to get your tires early so you can get track position late in the race.
And all that from a fellow who was driving a pig in the pre-race.
Yeah, he had track position on Dick Bergman.
Yes, he did.
I've seen that for sure.
Ryan Newman wondered if he was maybe holding up Steve Park a little bit here. Park breathing his car to the inside in the back straightaway. That's quite a lineup right behind Mr. Newman.
And when you tell your driver here when you're a crew chief, you just say, run the bottom of the racetrack. Make them go around you on the outside. They're going to have to be a lot faster than you to pass you on the outside. Mike Skinner in the 21 car, this is his 6th race in this season. What a turnaround this team has had. When he started driving this car 5 races ago, they was 26th in owner points. They have now climbed after 5 races with Mike in the car to 11th in owner points.
Wow.
And you just can see the chemistry between Mike and Gil Martin and that whole group.
Larry, were a lot of crew chiefs really unsure what to do with this new spring rule. That they couldn't run any spring rubbers in the front of the car, and the spring was limited in a certain height range to how you have to start the race and qualify.
Well, I think there's a lot of teams, they have got acclimated to running these soft springs. I mean, softer springs almost than you would run in the rear of the car. 300-pound springs, 400-pound springs. I mean, just super soft. So I think the teams that have been doing that, yes, it did throw them a curveball. There's a lot of teams that hadn't. Dick Bergman, what's going on down there?
Well, you're talking about curveballs for some of these teams. Yesterday, I was in Ryan Newman's garage, and I counted the number of springs lying on the floor. 19, trying to come up with a set of 4 springs that would meet the rules and also let the car run as fast as they wanted to go. These guys in the O2 have absolutely thrashed with this new spring rule.
The rule has also gone into effect this weekend in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, as well as here in the Busch Series. Ashton Lewis returns to the track after spending some time in the garage. Here's our leader, Kevin Harvick. He has a 1.7-second lead on Ryan Newman, and he's led all of the 40 laps so far. You're watching the NASCAR Busch Series on FX. .45 laps complete. In working lap traffic, Kevin Harvick has now opened up a 2.5-second lead on Ryan Newman, who has a snarling pack behind him. And a moment ago, as they lapped a car, Mike Skinner tried to get inside Steve Park and take him 3 wide into turn 3. Thankfully, that separated out before it became disastrous.
Well, we keep talking about spring rubbers, and again, the Busch Series, now they cannot qualify or start the race with a spring rubber. We're going to show you exactly a spring rubber. This is on a rear spring, but it serves the same purpose on a front spring. This is a spring rubber right there, made out of rubber. Pull the rubber out, softens that spring. Put the rubber in, stiffens that spring. Now, on the Busch Series now, they can use this adjustment in the race. They can add a spring rubber to the front spring, but they cannot qualify or they cannot start the race with a rubber in the front spring. They can do whatever they want to still in the rear springs.
Now, we were talking about something that happened while we were away. Got to show you this. This is called trying to take advantage of a situation. There's Skinner in 21 looking inside park as they lap Larry Foyt. Oh, not enough room for that.
Not wide enough for 2 cars, especially 3 cars. Very close right here on our 3rd and 4th place car.
But it illustrates the chances people will take, or who will, will at least take a look at, because it is so hard to pass here.
It is that. Jeff Green in the 10 car, remember, he restarted in 27th position. He's made his way up to 20th, but he's been having to deal with all these cars. We watched him fight Rich Bickle a while ago. It took him 10 laps to get by Rich Bickle. He was probably a half a second quicker than Rich, but could not pass him.
Larry, how many crew chiefs came up to us in the garage this morning and said, if you could just tell me what that 2 car is doing?
He has been the class of the field here all weekend. Again, when you win the pole by 2/10, you're fast. He was fast in half the hour. And I asked Todd Barrier, I said, Todd, what do you think about the new spring rule, the spring rubber rule? And he said, well, I'm not happy about it, but you know what? We're going to have to deal with it. That's the attitude you've got to have, Dick Bergman.
Let's remember that number 21 car of Mike Skinner is a team car of the number 2 Kevin Harvick, and they have changed notes, so they all know what each other has got. The 2 setups are pretty close. Skinner's strategy, quite simply, is to keep the fenders on until the end. And then he told me he's just going to tear them off if he has to. He wants to wear the car out, not tear it up until the very end of the race, but Mike Skinner in the 21 has a very good race car. He's just holding off until we get some more laps in.
Well, that team likes Mike Skinner's attitude, and they do. They're going to love Ted Christopher next week. Fenders,
oh boy.
He usually races modifieds. They don't have fenders to start, let alone finish with.
All they've got is a little bit of sheet metal on the roof and on the doors, and that's it.
That's all you need. Next Saturday, NASCAR's All-Star Night. Lowe's Motor Speedway, the Winston, will be there to bring it to you on FX.
Man, the closer we get to that, when they push those cars out there and it's 9 o'clock at night and those teams got their qualifying motors in there and everybody's got their game face on, 70 laps, no points, no hose barred, just a lot of money.
It's going to be a lot of fun. Jeff Green having a look at Jeff Purvis. You're riding with the MBNA cam on board Purvis's number 18.
Now the thing, Jeff Green, Harold Holly, his crew chief, what they need now with us showing 52 laps, they've done made this commitment to do it on one more stop. They need this race to go green flag all the way, because now, being here in 20th position, we've run so far, if a caution comes, they would have to put tires on. They would have to. They need a green flag race. He's going to get underneath Jeff Purvis here off turn 2.
Makes the pass. Next car ahead is Fedor, some distance further up the racetrack. 53 laps complete. It's now a 4-second lead. Kevin Harvick trying to wear them out here at Loudon, New Hampshire on FX. Coming up at 4 p.m. Eastern on FX, Mike Piazza and the New York Mets visit Pac Bell Park to take on Barry Bonds and the San Francisco Giants in a rematch of last year's Division Series. It's all right here on FX, part of the Fox Networks, your home for NASCAR and Major League Baseball. Kevin Harvick, driving for Richard Childress, led the most laps at Bristol, the most laps at Texas, and he has led all 58 laps here. Now Jeff Green made a pit stop back at lap 16 as he pulls up on Tim Fedor. Green, who got gas only, trying to fight his way back to the front with a fast race car.
Boy, look at that race car right through the middle of the corner, right on the bottom. That's where you pass people. You beat them through the middle of the corner, and you beat them back to that throttle down the straightaway.
Dick Bergman?
Well, realize that when Green took that gas stop, he was really virtually dead last in the field. He's now running an 18th spot, and his crew is telling him lap after lap that he has the fastest car in the field. And get this, he's complaining that that thing is going to push. When they make a pit stop and adjust it, he is really going to be quick.
His crew chief, Harold Holly, got his first ever win as a crew chief here in 1995. He was the assistant crew chief for Chad Little, but Gary Cogswell fell ill, and Holly stepped up on the box that day, and his first day as crew chief got his first victory.
Not a bad way to start off as a crew chief.
Green, the defending series champ, second in points to the man who's leading this race, Kevin Harvick. And there you see Green's progression since the restart, back up towards the front. Up on Kevin Grubb, 37. And let's again pick up this battle from second on back. This group keeping close check on one another. Steve Park just about 2 feet off the rear bumper of Ryan Newman. It's the same story there on back.
This whole group second through about 8th, and at the back of this pack, Greg Biffle in that 60 car, he's caught this group. Now, he's probably one of the biggest movers besides Jeff Green. He started 14th. I talked to his crew chief. They went and tested up at Milwaukee. They tried to come here, use the same setup, and he said that's what we kind of missed out on qualifying, but they did have a good race car in happy hour, and they need a good run here. They have fallen from leading the points 2 weeks ago back to third with 2 bad races, and they felt good about what they had yesterday in happy hour.
Looks like he caught that group pretty easily. Looks like he's just biding his time. Robbie Faggart dropped a cylinder. They picked up a new sponsor for this race, Rent-A-Wreck, but he has now taken that car to the garage area. Jeff?
Yeah, Mike, to echo what Larry was saying earlier about the 60 car, they are actually running the Milwaukee setup. Milwaukee shocks are on the car. I talked to Randy, and Randy said he was very, very happy. That's Randy Goss, the crew chief on the thing. He was very happy with the way the car was in race trim. They didn't mess up qualifying, but they were very happy with where the balance of the car is. One other thing, talked to a lot of drivers, a lot of crew chiefs, and they said, hey, we ran 60-some laps the other day in practice, and the tires never dropped off. Well, we just reached 64 laps in this race, so it'll be interesting to see once we get over the 65, 66 laps, whether these tires start changing a little bit and how much they're going to play a role in the rest of this race.
Well, one driver that has eased off is our leader, Harvick. He's got 5.5 seconds on the field. His last lap was about 50 hundredths slower than the next 4 cars. So Harvick is kind of out for a Sunday drive, today being Saturday. We'll see how that pays off.
But there's a lot of cars out there that he's going to have to fight, and one thing that's bad for a leader is trying to get by lap traffic, and there's a bunch of cars in front of him.
And again, Larry, he's backed off his lap times by 1 or 2/10 of a second, trying to nurse that lead, trying to chase him down. Newman, Park, Skinner, Keller, Santerre, Hamilton, and Biffle all in a tight pack.